Am I the fool for not having an excited reaction to my wife's surprise early Father's Day gift? 34 male here. I'm not sure how to start this, so I'll just get right to it. My wife surprised me with a gift that when presented I didn't really have the best reaction. My wife had the day off and wanted to have a day with her friend to watch Bridgerton and drink mimosas. Since she was having her day with her girlfriend, I decided to get a couple rounds of disc golf in. I get off of work and do the daily chores. Garbage, walk dog, feed Missile. As I am leaving to walk the dog, I tell the wife that I'm going to play disc golf after I'm done. To which she replies, well, maybe you shouldn't. I'll tell you when you get back. This already kind of dampened my mood as I had a long day and getting some light exercise in some clear weather sounded quite nice. Not to mention I've made said plans with a couple people which now I may have to cancel. Not the biggest deal, right? Now that's out of the way, here's the meat and potatoes. She got me a grill, and not only that I have to now go pick up said grill, assemble it and prepare dinner for guests because it's nice out. She invited friends over for me to cook for. It was presented in manner of, I got you a grill and invited our friends over, and when you get it put together you can use it. Needless to say my internal self was screaming and the stress meter moved up a bit. I gave a, oh cool, and tried my hardest not to seem ungrateful, but the surprise seemed very impulsive and just created a ton of work for me to do. So I cancelled my plans. Wife cancelled the pickup order due to my ungrateful attitude. We are now going to go out to eat with said people and we are now in a fight. Am I the fool?
Am I the fool for refusing to change the name I chose for my daughter so my sister can one day use it if she has a daughter? I'm 23 female, pregnant with my first child, a daughter. My boyfriend, 23 male, and I have decided to name her Ren. We didn't tell many people yet. My boyfriend told his parents and I told my parents and my siblings. After I told my sister, 30 female, she asked me if we could talk and she showed me a list she had of names her and her husband had chosen for future babies. Ren was the girl name they had chosen too. I had no idea. My sister never thought anyone in the family would go for a name like Ren. And when she heard we had chosen that, she got a little sad. You see, my sister and her husband have been TTC for 6-7 years and have been unsuccessful, with the exception of one miscarriage 5 years ago. Right now, they are undergoing some fertility treatments to try and have a child. It's been super hard on her, and when my boyfriend and I learned we were expecting, we agreed I should tell my sister first and give her time to process. She told me how much she appreciated it, and she was sad for a little while after. As well as super jealous. But I understand because this is something she has wanted for so long, and it was difficult for her to see me get pregnant so fast. I love my sister, and I always want to try and be understanding and not make her feel like shit because I'm having a baby and she's still trying to. But when she asked me to please choose another name so she could name a future daughter that, I didn't feel like I could agree to that. My daughter feels like Ren to both me and my boyfriend. We've already got some items with her name on them. We have grown very attached and bonded more with our Ren. I know to many it's not a big deal for people to share the same name in a family, but our family doesn't really like doing that. Our names might have been used in previous generations of the family, but we never liked the idea of two living members of the family sharing a name, and we're all so close that it would get confusing. So I know to her it means Ren has to leave their list if I use it. I told my sister I couldn't change my daughter's name after we had already committed so heavily and the name felt so right to us. She burst into tears but told me she understood. She hugged me and everything. Then my BIL got involved and he tore me a new one for not sacrificing a name so that my sister can hold on to the hope that she'll get to name their future daughter that one day. He said she has been such a good big sister to me and this would cost me nothing. Am I the fool?
Am I the fool for not allowing my parents to take a picture of me with my cap and gown? I, 16 male, graduated last Friday. After the ceremony ended I couldn't find my parents anywhere. I was looking around for them and then I decided to check my phone. My mom sent me a text a while ago letting me know that my sister went into labor and her and my dad were at the hospital. This upset me because I thought my parents were there, but realizing that they weren't just made me sad. I saw everyone else with their family taking pictures and stuff and I was just standing there awkwardly not knowing what to do. My mom told me that they would be back ASAP to come and get me. They did not. I waited for a good 20 minutes watching everyone else leave. I decided to just walk home because I got tired of waiting. I walked 3 miles before my parents drove by and made a U-turn to come and pick me up. They were mad when they saw me walking. They told me that it was disrespectful of me to leave without telling them and accusing me of putting myself in danger. I told them that it wasn't a lot of people left at the ceremony and I didn't want to wait anymore. I also told them that they knew it was important for them to be there and they completely bailed on me. They told me that they were sorry and kept trying to justify why they left. I told them that it doesn't make sense for them to leave when my sister's husband were there with her, and if they really wanted to abandon me they could have at least had one of them stay with me, but they left me with no one to watch me and ruined what was supposed to be a good day for me. My sister didn't even give birth that day, she gave birth like 18 hours later, which pissed me off more. The problem is my parents are upset with me because they wanted to take another picture of me with my cap and gown on, but I refused. The one they took of me in the car I wasn't smiling and my parents wanted a redo because of it. I told them no. I said that if they already had a picture of me and that it's all they are gonna get. I told them that there are pictures of me on my school's Facebook page and they can screenshot it from there or can leave it alone. If they choose to attend my college graduation they can maybe see me in another cap and gown. But until then, I don't see why I have to put it on just for them when they chose to miss it. They feel as if I'm punishing them by not allowing them to take a picture of me. I just feel like if they wanted a picture they should have been there. Other than that they can use the ones on Facebook, the one in the car, or none at all.
Am I the fool for not helping my brother in need when he refused to support me through a tough time? In 2016, I, 31 female then, was in a very toxic relationship with someone, 42 male, who was incredibly toxic and honestly horrible to me. My brother was slightly supportive of me in the beginning but slowly started to back away from me. I became very indebted to a lot of people, including friends, who tried to help me. When my relationship came to an end due to a very bad argument that almost became physical, I had to remain living with my ex until he moved out 2 months later. He was going back to his hometown and we were poor, so he needed to save money. So I tried to keep it cordial in the meantime, but he was sleeping in the living room. When my brother found out we were still living together, he stopped talking to me and texted all of our friends to never help me financially or otherwise, or he would stop talking to them as well. Most of them did, and except for 2 friends I was pretty much left by myself. I became homeless, moved to a different city, and started to work my ass off so I could have a better life situation. Now, 2024, I'm head of a department in a very good company, and I make decent money, and have paid most of my debts to everyone. Recently I found out my brother wanted to talk to me because he needed help putting his 3 children, who he refused when I asked to meet them, through school and for living expenses etc. I said no, and everyone says I'm just being vengeful and resentful. I have no feelings, good or bad, towards him. I left him in the past. I don't think about him or what he did to me. I just moved on and tried to be and do better for myself. Am I the fool for not wanting to help?
Am I the fool for asking a neighborhood kid if he could read? Yesterday, I, 45 male, observed a neighborhood teenage boy trespassing on my property. I decided to say something to him as this is not the first time and we have signs posted, private property no trespassing. There are 2 signs posted, at both ends of a temporary dirt accessway used by landscaping and construction vehicles. I observed the teen jogging up the accessway from one house away, while walking my dogs. My wife, 42 female, was also with me and she knows him better than I do. My wife got his attention by yelling, from one house away, "Hey, name. You know you're not supposed to be on there. What are you doing?" To which the boy shrugged and said he didn't know. I chimed in with, "Did you see the signs?" To which he replied, "Yes." I followed with, "And you read, right?" The boy confirmed he could and I continued with, "Then you should know you can't be on there. That's our yard, not public space. Please don't cut through our yard." The boy was out jogging, and with our message made clear my wife and I didn't see the point in taking it any further, so we said goodbye and the boy jogged off. The boy's mother, 40s female, was walking down the street toward us immediately after the boy jogged off. My wife and the boy's mother are neighborhood friends, a friend group of ladies that does social events like concerts, brunch, parties, etc., but that's about it. The boy's mother asked my wife what happened because she either heard or saw us talking to her son. My wife explained the situation and the mother said she didn't know the accessway wasn't public property and doubled down saying she and her family used it all the time. At this point, I had already said goodbye, started walking back to the house with the dogs, as the ladies talked, and I needed to get the dogs home. Around an hour later, I got a social media message from the father, 40s asking me to call him. I called the father and he asked me what happened, so I relayed the story, as above, what happened, what was said, how it ended, etc. The father proceeded to tell me that I was a dick to his son and I shouldn't have said anything to the boy. Instead, I should have called the father and he would have handled it. I reiterated my points to the father that the accessway on our property is temporary for construction access only. There are signs posted, our social media posts, the HOA letter, etc. How the boy admitted to seeing them and ignored them anyway, and why I said what I said as a lighthearted way to say, stay off our property. The father came back with, if you want to be a dick to a kid, then that says a lot about who you are. This went back and forth a few times, me repeating my points and wondering why the father wanted to talk in the first place, and the father calling me a dick for saying what I did to his son. So Reddit, am I the fool for asking a teenage boy if he could read, after ignoring posted no trespassing signs?
Am I the fool for refusing to share the money that I had with my stepsister? My parents divorced when I, 16 female, was 5. My dad remarried like 3 to 4 years after, and his wife also has a daughter my age. Let's call her Cora. Now, Cora and I get along just fine, though we both can be really difficult toward one another. I didn't had any siblings for a long while, so sharing was difficult at first, still is. I try to be better. I try to not give my dad much trouble, but Cora can be a big pain in the ass because she's also selfish, but since I'm always the bigger person she's used just get her way. Now, we both have allowances that my dad gives us, $40 to $50 every week. This doesn't count what he gives us for school lunches and other stuff. That money is just for us. My mom is a chef and I love to cook with her, so instead of buying lunch, I just pack my own. My dad still gives me money for lunch, but it's less than what he gives Cora because it's just to be fair and not to actually buy lunch, so I've saving that money for whatever. Last weekend my stepmom took us to a fair and it was super fun. Dad gave us some money and I pulled some of what I already had just in case. Well, Cora and I basically bought the same stuff, some snacks, a few trinkets and some t-shirts. She spent almost all her money. Then, at some point she asked if I could give her some, because she had ran out and wanted to buy something and I said no, because it was my money. She said it wasn't fair because I had that money because I refused to be normal and packed my lunch, something that apparently brings her shame. I said I didn't care. My stepmom came and asked what happened, and when we explained, she offered Cora another 20, but Cora said that what she wanted to buy was 30 or 40? And my stepmom only had that 20. Then she, my stepmom, asked me to do it and that she'd give me the money at home. I don't know why, maybe because Cora called me weird a bunch of times, or because I'm fed up with her always getting her way, and I said no. My stepmom reminded me she was going to pay me, and I said no either way. She said I wasn't being fair. We had an argument and midway I said this should be talked with my dad and that shut her down. Now, Cora and her friend are messing with me because of that and I'm doubting if what I did was right.